Hello, this is Adrian from ASTROPHOTOBOBCAT. Welcome back to the channel for a new video. We will go a little bit in depth with the tutorial for processing for monochrome camera. I gathered about 78 hours of data on the elephant trunk, and I will show you an easy way to process the data using the Pixinsight and Photoshop. Okay, so we are in front of the monitor and I will show you exactly how I will process this data that I gather. As I said, I do have about 70 hours combined of data, and I will show you from scratch a bit how I go about it. Alright, so we are in Pixinsight and I will open the images. I do have a package over here, hydrogen, oxygen, sulfur, and the stars. And I will explain a bit what's going on and why do I have it this way. For me, it's working out better if I take out the stars before combining the images. So in other words, I'm combining the images initially with the stars in SHO using LRGB combination. I take the stars from that image and I discard the image, and then I'm taking the stars out from the sulfur, from the oxygen and hydrogen before combining them. They are still gray images, as you can see in here. And the reason I'm doing that is because I found out that when you combine them, it gives you a better image, at least in my perspective. I will show you exactly how I'm doing that. We're going to LRGB combination and we are using the hydrogen. For the luminance, we are using the it's always confusing here because I confuse the filters in a filter wheel. Oxygen 3 is actually sulfur in my case. Then we are using for the green channel the hydrogen, and we are using the sulfur for the blue channel. And we'll preview this. It takes a little bit time to process, but you will see the image coming up soon. And in the meantime, I want to explain that you can use different steps to process, and it's good to experiment generally when it comes to processing. It's no specific path or specific way to do it. You just have to experiment a lot with it, and you will get better results the more you do that. Now you have this very greenish image, yeah, which is normal. I didn't know that in the beginning and I was panicking. But it seems that that's the way the image comes out when you process it this way. All this green that you see, that predominance, that's the hydrogen alpha signal. And using Bill Blanshaw plugins, they've been great for me and I've been using them a lot. They are free to download. I will leave a link for you to check that out. And what I will use now initially is modify SCNR V4, so we can get rid of the green hue, and it's easy as one click. You drag it on the image and you'll see how we're gonna get rid of that green, and you see what a beautiful image we have now. Just very simple to do, very simple to use. Bill has been doing amazing. He's been coming up with a lot of plugins for Pixinsight, and some amazing work that he does. He's been helping a lot in my case, I would say, for sure. Right now the image, as you can see it here, we can stretch it a little bit, and I usually prefer using histogram transformation. You can see the preview in here, and we'll do that just to stretch a little bit the data. Okay, not too much, just a little bit. Okay, and you do have a bit of a red magenta around in this image, and what I do, I've been using utilities and using the correct magenta stars. There are no stars in this image, however, this plugin will take care of the magenta going around, which, as you can see, now is nice and clean. Alright, now next step is to use automatic background extractor to clean up a bit the background, and as you can see, it's nice and clean. We got rid of that red hue around. We're gonna close this image now, and we have the new image. Next thing that I like to do, and I said that it's good to experiment with these things, you can do dynamic background extraction. Everybody's recommending actually doing this. Sometimes for me it doesn't really work properly. I'm not sure why, but we'll try it right now. I'm gonna put some points in here around in the corners, and then we'll see what's doing. So what this does, it creates a uniform color, a uniform image, right? That doesn't have the corners, let's say red or blue or green or stuff like that, right? So it looks very nice and uniform. Of course, you have to make sure you take flats, you have to make sure you take darks whenever you gather the data, otherwise you will have all kind of artifacts, all kind of issues. Alright, let's see a little bit of histogram transformation again. I'm gonna just drop a little bit over here, and the next thing to do, I'm using again one of the Bill's plugs, HT Stretch Linked RGB. Now that we are, oh sorry, that's the preview. Let's drop this on the image. And now that we have the combined LRGB image, using that, you see, it brings up a little bit of luminosity. The image looks a little bit more clear. But you cannot do that on a monochrome image. You have to make sure that's for the monochrome using the HT stretch unlinked. For the color image using the stretch link RGB. Alright, now we do this. We did this. Next step, what we can do, and this is another amazing tool. Next tool we'll bring up is RC Astro BlurXTerminator, which is a game changer. It's made by Russel Croman, which is a master in processing, and I will use this tool on my image to get everything nice and tight. Drag it in, drop it, and see magic happens. And what this does, as you can see over here, and I will try to give you a close-up, it tightens everything up very nicely, brings up the dark nebulosity. There you go, the difference, the clarity. It's just an unbelievable tool, unbelievable. And right now we are getting close to transfer to Photoshop. I want to do another thing before that, and that's give a little bit of a more color to this image. So you're going to curves transformation, and you go to saturation, you do the preview, and you slowly play around with the graph over here. You can see the colors are starting to pop up. You don't want to go crazy with it, and also keep in mind that we're gonna take this image in Photoshop, where we have few more tools in there to play around with. And I think I kind of like this. Let's close this down. Together with the colors, we got this green hue again, and we'll use again modify SCNR4, drag and drop, so we get rid of the green again over here. I like to do this in Pixinsight, so in Photoshop I don't have to worry about it. And what we'll do now, we'll take this image, save as, and I'll call it trunk starless variant. We'll save it on desktop, and I will also take the stars. Okay, we got it in here. Now we take this one, save as, trunk stars, save it on the desktop. Now we're going to the desktop and we will open these images in Photoshop. I will take the stars as well. Open up, yeah, take the stars, open up in Photoshop, and right now we'll do a little bit of cosmetics. Okay, and we'll start with a little bit of stretching in Photoshop. Okay, we're going a little bit with the white. All right, then I also use in Photoshop a lot of plugins, and one of my favorite ones is right here, and it's called Photokemi Star Tools V3, which has been great for me. What I'll usually do, I'm using the first one that I'm using actually is the level stretch. Even though I did touch it a little bit, I will continue to do this as well, just to give it another stretch. And you can see it's very easy. You take one by one, the black point, the white point, the gray point, and you stretch it nicely. You don't want to overstretch it. Set the gray point again. There we go. And the black point again. And you can see around it's nice and a little bit darker. The nebula pops up. Next one that I'm using in here as well, it's called Space Dust. Space Dust 1. We'll push this, and then you see a bigger contrast. Take the plug out and put the plug back in to see the difference. Okay. After doing this, what I like to do, it's using another plugin that I got is Topaz Labs, Topaz Dinoise AI, and this has been great. Also, as you're going to see, it's gonna make the image sharper. Again, you don't want to go crazy with it. What I do is using the low light model. You can use the standard, clear, severe noise, and raw. Low light has been working very good for me, and I will apply that. and let's see. Okay, see, the data looks very nice and clean, the image looks very nice and clean. And now I'm gonna go to the stars. I'm gonna take this layer and get it to the nebulosity image. Control T. Okay, just want to make sure that it fits. You switch it from normal to screen. You click on it over here, and then you go to the let's see. Oh, you want to go to the levels over here, because as you can see, the stars are overwhelming the image. So you want to drop a little bit the gray point, and that's looking much better. Okay, then you merge these two layers. And over here I'm using again the Photokemi plugin, and it does have a very good tool. First one is Sharpen Stars, which we will do now. You get a little bit more sharper, more tight stars. And then another one that I'm using is Star Reduction Special, and I will use that. There are different tools in Photoshop, in Pixinsight actually, to do all this stuff. I've been working with Pixinsight and Photoshop, and I created like my workflow, so I like to stick with this. And what I need to do now before we save this picture, we just need to crop it a little bit, because you can see on the edges it's a little bit off, and I think this looks pretty good. And I would so I will save this picture on my computer. I'll put Rang Starless final variant, and there you go. I would like to mention the fact that as you can see here, I did do a different processing, and I do have the tendency of reprocessing a lot, and I do recommend you doing that and using all the tools you have available. Pixinsight, Photoshop, whatever it is, and play around with the data. You'll be surprised of how much data and how much it's hidden, and if you play with it, you will get it out. As you can see a little bit over here, it's a big difference in between the one that I just processed and this one. A little bit more color, more pop. Over here you don't have the stars. Can't remember exactly when I did this one, but anyway, the thing is that I strongly recommend you to reprocess as many times as you can, and you will get better at doing this. Thank you for sticking around and watching this tutorial. It's my first tutorial. I'm a little bit you know, not sure exactly how to approach it. Hopefully it would help you out. But as I mentioned before, I find it very important for you, if you are serious about astrophotography, to actually get into it, do a lot of processing, try to use different tools. Sometimes they do cost some money. Some of them are 100% worth it, and I can definitely recommend you doing that. But just playing around with the data that you have, you might be surprised of how much hidden data you have in an image that initially doesn't look like much, but by just playing back and forth and stretching and using different plugins and using Pixinsight and Photoshop, you can get a nice image out. Do not worry initially as much about being very accurate when it comes to colors, when it comes to stuff like that. We are not necessarily a scientific research or anything. We're not doing that. We could kind of show a more artistic side to this, to nebulas, galaxies, And yeah, don't be afraid to play with the data, and clear skies, and I will see you very soon. Thank you.